Okay, my first live. Not sure what I'm doing. Let's see. Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to my first live. Hi Peter.
Hey ho,
How are you?
how are you doing?
But not
How
bad.
bad do I look?
No, you look good. I'm using a filter, so feel free to use one if you want.
No, I won't. I'll just do it. Does it sound okay from this?
Wait, I'm gonna remove my. It's not okay. My sound is okay. I can hear you better now, I think.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, mic is okay?
Yeah, all good. It's my first live and I've done one before. So
Really?
yeah. I know you're used to it, but I'm just learning.
Do you know what I mean? I'm a professional.
You are. So take over because I don't want to be talking and I want my guests to talk as much as you can because today is to showcase your accent. So you can start maybe introducing yourself, telling where you're from,
Yeah.
what you do.
Okay. Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Peter, and I'm the principal of the CES School, Centre of English Studies School in Oxford. And what can I tell you about myself? I was born in South London, in like a suburb of South London. Not a very fancy place, not a very memorable place, but nevertheless, there I was born. And I suppose you could say I've kind of got well, you could say it's a sort of South Londonish accent. I mean, the problem of a lot of Londonish accents is across the southeast of the UK, all of these accents started merging together, right? So it's really hard to hear if somebody's from like as far as Brighton, right? Right up into London. It's really hard to hear exactly where people are from in the southeast from an accent. If you pointed to a town in the north, I could tell you exactly which town it was, right? Like there's a difference between, say, Leeds and Blackburn, or Blackburn and Manchester, or Manchester and Preston. Even though these places are very close together, the accents didn't merge in those areas. But you could sort of say that accents in London did. And London, what effectively happened was London spread, all right, throughout the whole of the southeast. So it's easy to say somebody's got, and we call that accent estuary English, right? An estuary is the mouth of a river, okay? And we mean by estuary the Thames River estuary that runs through London, okay? So like a river, that London accent rolls throughout the whole of the southeast of the UK. And it's sort of my accent, I suppose.
Right. And how long have you been in Oxford now? And have you picked up the Oxford accent or is it similar?
Yeah, it's really similar. Like the old people have like ooh, you know, Oxfordshire accent. They all sort of talk a bit like this, and they're always all very rounded in the mouth, and it's quite sort of gentle and soft.
It sounds like there's a TV show from Birmingham, I think.
Oh God,
An
no,
Irish, it's an with an Irish actor. Big Blinders, Big Blinders.
no, dude,
No?
no.
Sorry.
That Birmingham accent is considered. I see
There's
Johnny.
Hi,
Johnny's stalking
you're
us.
being invited live for my next live. There you go.
Johnny's already in, is he? All right, so that Birmingham accent is famous. It's famous, and it's famous for being the. Is anybody from Birmingham on this? Nobody's from Birmingham. Okay, good. I can say what I'm going to say. Get away with it, right?
Uh-huh. It's gonna be
Birmingham accents are regarded as the ugliest accents in the UK. They always sound like they're complaining, right? Like, oh, I don't know, I've lost all my money, and I don't know what I'm going to do this afternoon. That's how they talk, right? And it's like a permanent complaint about life and everything.
Oh.
And if you ask anybody from England, like, which is the worst accent in the whole of the UK, without a shadow of a doubt, they will say Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
All right, test my theory with other English people. You'll see what I mean.
Right. Okay, so what do you think about an Oxford accent? And have you picked up any?
Well, like I said, it's an accent which is dying, actually.
Oh.
The old people still have it, and some young people in very rural, kind of countryside-y bits of Oxfordshire. But most of Oxford has also been taken over by estuary English.
Okay. And I suppose a lot of students as well from many kinds.
Yeah. A lot of students. You see, class is a part of it as well. It isn't just like region. It's also about social class.
Yeah.
If you go to university, your accent will change without a shadow of a doubt. In the beginning, often it actually gets worse, right? Because you want to impress your new friends with your working class credentials. But you're not working class. You came from a middle class family. That's not how you talk. And very slowly you get this sort of like my son is doing it now. My son is studying in Cardiff. And I can hear it. All right, how are you? You all right? Like that kind of accent, right?
And how he talks at home.
No, of course not. And I remember when a friend of mine was over from Ireland, and the friend said, your kids sound so posh. Like, because they I guess they talk like me. And I don't think I sound posh, by standards of English people, not really. But they thought my kids sounded really sort of, oh, hello, how are you? Welcome to England. And they had that,
Yeah.
But it wasn't true. It was rubbish, really.
I think that's normal. Like teenagers that try to fit in, so they change how they talk and etc.
I see my friend Saud there. I'm going to say hello to him. Hello, Saud. Yeah, I mean, teenagers do that. They modify their accents. And so by the time you leave university, you don't know what your accent is anymore. Right? Because all the other kids molded it as well. It's not just yours. It belongs to a social class of accents. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think it's kind of the same everywhere. You try to fit in, so you just change slightly a few things.
Well, it's like Dublin, isn't it? You've sort of got posh Dublin and you've got not posh Dublin.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I don't know if
even I can hear that.
Yeah, I don't know if I can talk with well, I've learned most of my English I learned in South Dublin with posh people, and they sound really clear, and it's completely different from Dublin in Dublin town and north, and it's completely different. So I can kind of notice that, on the south side you can kind of hear a clear accent.
And it's all about further education, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very London, isn't it? That's a bit London.
And who does sounds like this? Waha. Who sounds like that? Waha.
Yeah, there's this terrible thing in London and I kind of drop it in when I'm talking to friends, that you drop your T's, right? So every T becomes like later, water, Peter, like that. But I mean, if I do it, I hate myself for doing it, because now it's like a game. You know what I mean? It's not really my accent. It's an accent maybe I had 45 years ago when I was 10, but I don't really talk like that anymore. I don't think so.
And how long have you been in Oxford now?
Oh God, ages. About how long has it been? Jesus, 10 years.
Oh wow, same as me here in Ireland. 10 years in Ireland.
Yeah, 10 years. It's a long time, isn't it?
A lot of time.
But I guess before that, I was kind of all over the world. I spent 25 years not in the UK.
That was going to be my other question. So yeah, tell me, where have you been? And have you been through any difficulties anywhere where they don't speak English? Any issues with the language?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose. Well, I've lived all over the world, like I said, and I did my first job in Estonia on the Baltic coast. And there wasn't a lot of English there when I was there just when the Cold War finished in 1990, something like that, right? And it was a really hard time for that country, so that was tricky. Not a lot of English being spoken. A lot of Russian, but not a lot of English. And where did I go after that? And then I went to Seville, I think, Sevilla, in Andalusia, in Spain. And I spent a very delightful 2 years there in a town I really loved. And then we went back to Brighton. I was traveling then with a girlfriend that I, perhaps decided she didn't like me that much later. And then we did a trip to Chile, to Patagonia. I lived in a place called Punta Arenas in the south of Chile. Oh, wow. That was pretty tricky. That was cold.
Yeah.
Really cold.
Colder than in UK?
Oh Jesus, yeah. Yeah. It's in Patagonia, for God's sake. It's like just over the water from Tierra del Fuego. Right.
Do they have skiing ranks?
Yeah. No wonder my skin looks so awful now.
To ski.
Yeah. No, it was a nice area and I really enjoyed it, but there was a hole in the ozone layer over Punta Arenas, right? Which meant like rabbits and little creatures were born blind.
Okay.
Right, because it's not good if you've got a hole in the ozone layer. And I blame it for the fact that my skin is now like an old piece of leather. Right, that's Punta Arenas did that, not me.
How long have you spent there?
I was there a couple of years. Okay. Yeah, it was all right. Then I went back to Brighton again. I always go back to Brighton, so like a yo-yo.
Brighton is sunny enough, isn't it?
Is anywhere in the UK and Ireland sunny enough, really?
No, not really.
Not really, is it?
You can
I enjoyed it. I'm not complaining. It was cool. And I had a good crack there. But, where did I go after that? Oh, and then I think I went to Tokyo after that.
Oh, wow.
I was in Tokyo a long time, like 6 years.
Wow.
And,
learning Japanese?
I learnt baby Japanese, which is quite useful.
Oh, sorry.
But it's really helpful if you need a poo. You just say.
You can find.
Very fluent. I'm very fluent if I need food or a poo. Very fluent, like a native. Right.
But that's what I normally recommend, because I learned a lot when I was reading to a 5-year-old. A time story. I learned a lot from kids' books with like a sentence with 3 words, and I could pick it up from that. So I normally recommend that, reading easy books, child's books.
Absolutely. Kids' books are also repetitive.
Yeah.
Right? There's always it's like a poem almost, isn't it?
And the image there, so it's made for the kids to understand, even if they don't know themselves the words, because
yeah, it's really cool. And where do we go? Oh, so yeah, it was about 6 years in Tokyo, and then I went to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia.
Oh wow!
And I was there for a couple of years. That wasn't good for my skin either. It was very hot.
Very hot.
It was like being put in a deep fat fryer. Oh. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's bad for your skin.
Yeah.
If you've ever tried it, try this at home. Put yourself in a deep fat fryer. That's what it's like living in Kuala Lumpur. Right?
You're feeling like a coxinha. A coxinha is a very traditional dish that we deep fry. It's a chicken ball kind of thing.
I do feel a bit like a coxinha.
Coxinha.
I think perfect. Coxinha.
Pushing, I almost there. Yeah.
Enough. It's good enough, right? Um, and then I was in Abu Dhabi in the Emirates for six
Oh
years.
wow. Okay. Yeah, you've been places.
Well, yeah, I suppose, but I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
It's advantages and disadvantages, really. I had a fun life.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm not dead yet, but it was a fun life, and I did enjoy and fell in love actually with all of those places in some
Yeah.
way or another. Even like people think the Middle East, for example, like Abu Dhabi, is a really awful place to live, and I think actually it was one of the best places I ever lived, and I enjoyed it almost the most. You
Yeah.
know, it's really cool. People are nice. The weather's a teeny bit warm, I think it would be fair to say, but it was cool. Yeah.
It wasn't hotter than Malaysia,
No, it's easier than Malaysia,
right?
much easier,
I
because
thought.
they have a lot of immigrant workers in
Mm.
the Gulf countries, right? So
Mhm.
Qatar, Emirates, uh, you know,
I heard
Bahrain.
Dubai as well. It's a very nice place to live and study and work and all.
Yeah, Dubai's all right, but it's not my kind of town, really, to be
Mm.
honest, because it's all full of shopping and ridiculous.
Mm. Your
It's,
kind of town
it's
is all.
consumption, you know.
Tell
It
us.
was all about you are what you shop. That's
Mhm.
Dubai, right?
Okay.
And
I would.
I always
I
found that
wouldn't
a
be.
bit
I wouldn't
embarrassing.
be anything because to shop in Dubai, you have to have a lot of money.
Oh, listen, Enrique. Okay, his coxinha is really tasty. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Okay, send me coxinha then, Enrique. Instead of telling me about the food,
Once I'm
send it to me.
try and make it because I never made one before. But once I'm there, I can try and make it for
Yeah,
for a UK team.
I definitely need that. So yeah, I mean, I liked everywhere. I enjoyed them all.
And you never had any issues with the just at the beginning in Bosnia with Bosnia, wasn't
I would have liked to have lived in Bosnia, but I didn't quite manage that. I did visit
it? Where
it.
did I take Bosnia from? Sorry.
Bosnia's cool as hell, actually. I did this trip from Croatia over the border into a place called, well, into Sarajevo, the capital of
Mm.
Bosnia, via, what's that little town called? Mostar. And Mostar is an amazing little place in Bosnia, really cool. If you get a chance, go visit. Really
Gosh,
cool.
I coach because I'm desperate for hot weather right now.
I hear you. I'm
This
in
has been,
exactly the same place.
but I just need a longer period of time in the hot, in the bathing in the sunshine.
You're too right. Oh.
But tell us a little bit more about Oxford and about CS in Oxford.
So I have to do a sales pitch now. Don't make me do that.
Well, in a more
You know, I've always been really rubbish at selling things. Don't ask me to sell things. I generally prefer to tell the truth about things rather than sell them.
yeah.
Right. So, okay, how do I feel about this place?
Mm-hmm.
So I live in a little village on the edge of Oxford, and I've never lived in a village. The one thing I haven't done is live in a village in any part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first came to live here, I was pretty freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I reckon I had more culture shock living in Wheatley than I had living in Tokyo.
All right.
Honestly, that's true. It's so freaked me out. I couldn't understand. Like, there's a high street in the village I live in, Wheatley, right? And I always think, I don't know if it's the same in Ireland, but a high street is like where all the shops are, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And there's loads of people, and everyone's shopping, and everyone's gathering, and there's pubs, and not in Wheatley. There are no people. There are no. So that was really odd that it was so quiet. I found that odd. But it took me a while, but I came to appreciate. I really like having nature all around me now. I like the greenery, and I like how it's all fresh and clean and nice. My house backs onto a farm, so when I go home, there's always a few cows or a few horses or a few sheep in the field behind my house.
Yeah.
So there's no problem finding dinner.
Mm.
And,
The smell.
Yeah, well, the farmer gets upset when you shoot the horses, but but it's good for barbecuing, very fresh.
So
And
very local.
uh,
It's a very quiet city, very local, and
yeah, I've really thoroughly enjoyed living here. I told you, I fall in love with everywhere I live,
mm,
right? And I have to say, I totally enjoy living here now. Really peaceful, relaxed, slow, kind of slow. I'm 10 minutes from Oxford city centre.
that's good.
Great. It's great. You know, I couldn't ask for more.
That's great. In Ireland, you have a lot of places like that as well. I'm kind of the same way with cows and horses around. The only thing I
Yeah.
smell, but all the rest good.
Yeah, the smell's not nice, is it? If you're city people, the, the
Yeah,
smell is pretty unpleasant.
very yeah. And the other thing I want to ask you as well, because I do have some people here, then some people from Brazil, some people are living in Ireland, some people there might be looking for English school and traveling abroad. So tell us a little bit more of what you do. You're a director in one of the schools. Oh, we have someone from, I miss with,
Oh,
yes. Oh, there we go. We have someone that studied with you.
of course you do. Of course you do. Um,
Don't,
what can I tell you? Okay, so we've got a really cutesy language school here. It's really like the Japanese would call it kawaii, which means cute. It's so cute.
so cute.
That's what it means, right? Kawaii. You
Mhm.
hear, you ever get Japanese students, you just go, kawaii, and they all go, like, that's cute, right? And,
Or Portuguese, if you hear it.
oh, what?
Fofo or fofinho. It's a
Fofinho.
fofinho. Yeah, you might hear that in Portuguese. You have
Fofinho.
Brazilian students, but very few.
Yeah, very few. I mean, because, you know, the working situation in Ireland's obviously a lot easier than the working situation in the UK. I've had a few over the years, and they're always, for some reason, the Brazilian guys are always totally cool. I don't know why.
I
I
think
don't know how they
you
do it.
are Brazilian.
Yeah,
Very cool.
it's a large population. I'm sure there are people who are not cool somewhere in that population.
Yeah, no,
But generally, the ones I've met have been really nice people and really like they're kind of relaxed, weirdly relaxed about everything.
hmm
Nothing much bothers them, you know.
yeah,
It's it's quite odd actually as a phenomenon.
yeah.
Um,
I think the one thing that could bother a lot Brazilians would be, um, yeah, that's tricky. Maybe the weather, but I think we can adapt very easily.
I
Um,
have a feeling two Brazilians could make a really big party wherever they were. If you put two Brazilians in Antarctica,
yeah,
there'd be a bloody fiesta within the hour.
for a big party. Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure. It's a small school, but inside is a big, lovely family. See?
Oh,
See?
that's okay.
See?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Okay, that's a really good point. That is true, right?
mm,
And kind of I'm in my office at the moment. I really shouldn't be because it's what 8:30 in the evening.
yeah,
So it's a bit mad, but it really is a bit like that, you know, because it's small. So we know everybody that walks through the door,
yeah.
and kind of, you know, you walk through this door, Peter's going to make horrible jokes about you in all likelihood. So, you know, you just get used to it.
But yeah, I think for being
It,
small, like you're very close to everyone, and
yeah, you get really used to people, and you really get to know them, and you get to sort of, yeah, really understand who they are. I mean, I've always said that students who come here, it always feels to me like they've got two suitcases.
mhm.
There's the one you can see, which contains all their ridiculous gear from wherever they come from, all their expensive shoes, and then there's another one, the invisible one, which they unpack on my desk. And in that invisible one is all the stuff they brought with them from their own country, right?
Mm.
Like, but why do you have separate hot and cold taps? Why? Because we do, right? Why do you all drive on the wrong side? Because we do, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That one, that suitcase is quite entertaining, really, quite
mm,
interesting. And every country has a different suitcase. Every individual actually has a different suitcase.
that's true.
Um, and that's kind of fun, and it makes me really like what I do.
Yeah.
This, you know, I've worked here for 10 years, right? I can honestly say in 10 years, it's unusual for me to feel bored. Really unusual. I mean, it would have to be a bad day for me to be bored. There's always something happening, you know.
It's great to meet so many different people and so many different cultures and backgrounds and
yeah, for sure.
Different. So
a lot of the guys are young as well, right? So if you're like me and you're, you know, getting on a little bit, it's quite nice to meet young people again. I know that sounds like, you know, I'm your granddad, but I mean it just as, I think being around and teaching and messing around with young people helps to keep you young.
Yeah.
Because the things they do, the things they say, and the things they're interested in stops you aging too fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. Never thought about that. But
well, you haven't quite got that problem yet. But give it another 20 years, you'll know what I mean.
Probably. Someone said, Henrique said that the only thing he misses the most is the food, Brazilian food. That's true, Henrique.
Yeah.
That's true. And where I live now, there's no like Brazilian restaurants or anything. So like, there's some days I just want a feijoada or a steak or I don't know, just you know, and I don't cook that well, so.
I think food's the big thing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Food's always the thing. Like, you know, we've got a kitchen here. Did you know that?
In Oxford School?
Yeah.
No.
We've got like, a proper full-on kitchen with very short knives and plates and students who don't wash up. We've got all of that.
Oh.
Right?
Oh yeah, I think I saw a picture. What was it you were making last time with the students?
I wasn't making anything.
You're just eating.
I'm very lazy. I just make them do it. I see Elif. Hello, Elif. How are you? I don't make anything ever. I just watch them and give them management experience. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Management advice. Right. Very
Tell
important.
them what to do and just sit and wait for your plate. And then
no, they're really cool. And so what the kids here do is because they eat together, because they cook together, they kind of come together.
Mm-hmm.
How to explain? It's like, you know, you were saying, oh, I can't eat Brazilian food, you know, it makes me really sad, and you know, I'd really like a big juicy steak kind of thing. Well, that's what the kids go out and find food from their own country, right? And then they cook it and share it with all the other people there.
Yeah.
And I think that's brilliant. That's amazing.
It probably makes more home as well and sharing their own culture through food. And delightful experience, I think, as well. And trying as
really cool, really cool, and a lot of fun, and people enjoy doing it. And of course, people come together when they eat, and they talk around food, over food. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not kiddies, you know, a glass of wine or two helps as well.
Probably not in the school.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've had garden parties where there has been wine. We, you know, all over 18s, of course. Like occasionally, we've done that. And I just think people come together when they eat together, when they drink together, they are together. You know?
And for your information, there is a Brazilian restaurant in Oxford, so you should go and try the picanha, and Henrique's recommending. And
what's it called?
I don't know the name. Henrique, what's the name of the Brazilian restaurant there? Maybe just Google Brazilian restaurant in Oxford and try a coxinha and a picanha.
All right, I'll find it.
And there are some of your old students there.
Yeah. I mean, yes, very many times you cooked Turkish food. I remember very well, and it was often I'll miss the food nights because you know I've got a family, I've got to go home and stuff like that. But I do like the fact that the students are really enthusiastic about doing it. I mean, you've seen our garden, right? We have a lovely garden.
Yeah, it's very cute.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
Kawaii. Right? And in the summer, you can imagine that garden full of tables. On sunny evening, it's warm, trees all around you. You know, and somebody's cooked, I don't know, Turkish food or Spanish food or Italian food. And it's, Taiwanese. Taiwanese used to love cooking, right? And it's a brilliant scene. fabulous, absolutely fabulous.
And I suppose Oxford's the.
She's saying that my two teachers never missed it, never missed the food. No.
I think I never tried Turkish food, and there's so many.
Really?
Probably try.
Turkish food's awesome.
Yeah, I heard of that, but I never tried. I have to go back to Dublin to try because where I am now, there's nothing.
Is it fish and chips mostly?
Fish and chips, yeah, definitely. Fish and chips everywhere around here. And the other thing I want to ask you, and something I want to say as well about Oxford, that I suppose for whoever, people that are looking for English schools, not for too long, and somewhere that's probably smaller, like more fitting, more like a family feel in the atmosphere. Yeah. Probably Oxford's the best place.
In my opinion, but like I'm a bit biased, but I mean I would say that's probably true. If people want to kind of feel part of a community, if that's their vibe, this is a good place to come, I reckon. Particularly around the summer months. I mean, it does get crazy full. It's true, and it's only a small school, so when it's full, it's really, really, really full. Right? But it's a lot of fun. I think very few students leave here feeling kind of, oh, I wish I hadn't gone there. Yeah. That's not the case. That's not true.
I should schedule my trip to Oxford because I do want to get to know around there. And my last question to let you go, because we reached our time.
You realize I'm going on holiday tomorrow, don't you?
I have holidays to be taken, indeed. So I have actually Ryanair is on sale at the moment. I don't know where to, but
do it. Don't worry about where to. Just buy anything for £10, £15.
Want to hop on the plane? I think I haven't been on a plane, I don't know, in 4 years.
I've been on a plane since the beginning of the pandemic, and tomorrow I'm flying to Lanzarote in Spain. I'm delighted.
Jealous.
I'm delighted.
But enjoy your holiday. And the last thing I want to say, if anyone they're looking for English classes in English school, you can look for Peter, and Facebook is here, or not Facebook, Instagram's
here. They can always drop me a note in my Instagram. It's all good.
And last thing, so you can go.
My phone might run out of battery before I finish this answer.
Okay.
It's done.
Okay.
I'm not being rude. It's just done.
Okay,
right?
It's gonna be quick. You're just one simple and I don't know, one advice for anyone studying English.
Advice for people studying English. I've got terrible advice and sensible advice. Which one would you like first? Sensible advice.
Terrible.
Let's do the sensible advice first. Because terrible advice. I hope none of my bosses are watching. Okay, so sensible advice would be, do everything you can within the host family to communicate and make friends with them. Sometimes that can be difficult because host families are not always like the easiest people to get on with, as you might know, right? But you've got to charm them. I think sometimes students have problems with host families because they thought, it's like, well, why aren't they doing things for me? Why isn't it like a hotel? Where are my towels, right? And that's their attitude to the host. And the host picks up on that. Yeah. And the host begins to act in the opposite way. What are you doing in my house? Why are you still here? Shouldn't you be going out tonight? I need my own space, right? So that doesn't work. But if the student is ridiculously charming, that does work, right? You go back, you've got some flowers for the host mother, there's some bottle of something for him, right? That is effective. And if you can make that relationship work, you've got hours of free language practice. I mean, not much of it you might understand, but still. That's really good advice, I reckon.
You can get
charm the host.
Kindness. Anything. You can get well with anything in life if you're charming and kind.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. And don't believe you're going into a hotel. You are not. You are going into somebody's home, right? And you wouldn't treat your friend's mother in that way, would you? Right?
Exactly.
So that's, I know people have got good and bad experiences with host families, so I'm not going to talk about that too much, but charming them is the game, right? Yeah. Okay, so do you want the terrible advice now? This is really awful. I think I reckon if you got an English boyfriend or girlfriend, that would sort you out within, I'd give it 2 months, you know. Honestly, the most helpful and the quickest way of learning a language, any language,
Yeah.
is
So just
love.
download Tinder,
Love.
phone.
Love. Right? I'm about to do Beatles number, like love is all you need, you know? Love is all you need. Love.
Yeah.
Like, people learn,
Yes.
yeah.
You can get it.
People learn what they need. People learn, people don't learn stuff they don't need, right? Does that make sense? So if you're in a classroom and somebody's telling you about, like, I don't know, fossil farming in Australia, you don't need that, right? So you don't learn it. But if you meet somebody you really like and you really want to be charming and pleasant and make them love you, you are going to work very hard to make that happen.
Mm.
More effective than any classroom. Don't tell the bosses I said that.
Hope none of them are here. I don't think so.
I think Johnny's still here, probably.
And there was one of our students said one of your advices was not to speak in their own languages. That's a good one as well. Try
What was that? Say again? Try to.
Not to speak in their own languages. You used to.
Oh my God! Yeah, yeah. That's really that drives me crazy. Actually, I can't believe you'd come all that way for that much money
To speak in your own language.
Yeah, to sit and speak Italian all day. That's the most expensive Italian you will ever learn, you will ever speak. You know, you're paying what? How much an hour for that Italian conversation you could have for free in Rome? Right? It's incredible, isn't it? Johnny's lurking. Look at him.
Johnny, you're next.
Yeah, Johnny, you better be as frank and direct as I've just been.
Peter, thank you so much. Enjoy your holiday. Wonderful time.
Yeah, no problem.
Sunshine.
Yeah, you'll be lucky. I'm having all that sunshine for myself and this lovely skin.
I'm going to go right now and see if
it's going to just go a little bit more leathery after I come back.
Oh, stop. Enjoy. Have a lovely spring on.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.
Have a lovely week.
Watching.
Don't forget to do the Instagram posts.
I won't, boss.
Don't do them late. Don't do them late.
I won't, boss. Bye.
Right.
See you.
See you later. Ta-ra. Bye.
Everyone. Bye. Ciao.
Bye, people. Bye, friends. Bye, old students.
Bye.